live. Hey, what's going on out there, everybody? JT here in the studio. That's John Testa to most of you guys. Studio 10-4 Live weekly updates back with you after the 4th of July. It's the 4th of July after party here, and we are making it into the rest of the week, man. 4th of July falling on a Tuesday is kind of interesting how that works out. But hope a lot of you guys got a chance to take the Monday off and bridge that into the holiday. That way you get a 4-day weekend out of it. I got to say I was fortunate enough to do that, but I enjoyed myself down in Folsom, California over the weekend for the Folsom Pro Rodeo. I believe the 62nd annual, and we had a good time, man. Another great production. The rodeo down there is owned by the Chamber of Commerce, and they put it on every year with a whole boatload of volunteers, ambassadors that are members of the chamber, as well as the community, and of course the huge group of sponsors that come in and make it possible to do it, and then of course all the fans. And rodeo is alive and well in Folsom. It's great to see it. Reno Rosser and the Flying U Rodeo Company down there doing a great job. A lot of trucks bringing livestock down in there, and some of them pretty sharp. They bring the whole show wherever they go. That's how it works these days. These guys bring in all the stock, pens, chutes, everything it takes to make that part of the rodeo, which is the rodeo, happen. And then there's a lot of fun stuff that goes on too at these rodeos, at least on this type of rodeo. This is a 3-day event that goes on down there every year. It's 3 nights, so it goes from 6 to 10 p.m. and then from 10 to midnight, the Saloon Under the Stars. They got live music and dancing and a full bar, and that's for the adults to carry on and have some fun. So it's a great time, and I got to say it was fun seeing all my friends and people I've worked with over many of the years that I was involved in Folsom and in the chamber and the rodeo and working the rodeo every year. So good time and really enjoyed it. I hope you guys all got to go do something out there 4th of July. We had fireworks every night at the rodeo. Last night, Miss Julia and I stayed home up in the Pacific Northwest, and we watched fireworks over DC, which I got to say, pretty amazing. The second one that we watched was New York City. And while it was over the top with the amount of fireworks, I mean, I would have to say if they didn't spend $1 million on fireworks, they didn't spend a dime. That show went on forever and ever and ever behind the artists who were performing, and they did like a Motown, kind of montage of Motown music and songs, and that was what played through the whole thing. And if anybody out there saw it, I'd love to hear your comments on it. The other one was orchestrated in the background, and not sure much about that one, but it was just a live feed over on Fox News, and they shared it, which was pretty cool. Around here, there's no fireworks going on, man. Too much to catch fire and burn. So that was not not a good combination. Fireworks and dry grass and everything else that's going on out there. Hey, I know there's a bunch of y'all watching out there. Today we're only live streaming on 2 channels. I wanted to do an experiment and see if it really brought people through on the 2 channels, our YouTube channel, and over on our Facebook page is where we're streaming tonight. So if you're out there and you're watching in the background, jump in and give us a shout, tell us hello. That way I know you're there. And then, of course, share with your friends. Appreciate that, too. Got a special guest waiting in the wings here. I'm going to tell you all about that here in a minute. But somebody you guys all know, and a lot of fun to talk to this guy. I can tell you this much, former cover trucker. Once a cover trucker, always a cover trucker, but past cover trucker, and still at it every day out there running the miles and doing what he does. So, hey, Skip, how you doing? Charles Hale, good to have you. Hey, Charles, I wore your shirt the other day, buddy. Appreciate that, man. Wore that at work, and got a lot of comments on the shirt there. I got another shirt that I got from Renee LaChance, our buddy Frenchie, when we were in Reno, and it's got his old transfer set on it, and on the back, which happens to be Reliance. So I kind of felt weird. I shouldn't wear that to work, right? What would people think? So I haven't. But nice shirt. And Frenchie, if you're out there and you're listening, brother, thank you, and I hope you're feeling better and doing well. Miss Julia saying hello from upstairs. So yeah, we got a 3-story deal here, man. I'm down in the basement where I created my new office, which has a lot of similarities to what we had in Folsom, and it's kind of eerie how similar it is because I'm down in this downstairs area that looks just like where I was at in Folsom, and then we got 2 stories upstairs, and got the air conditioning cranking. Man, found out how to clean a mini split today, and let me tell you, the guy on the phone told me, he says, you might be surprised how much dirt's in there. And I said, I don't think so. And when I opened that son of a gun up, I mean, it was, the filters were clogged. So if any of y'all have mini splits and run those in your house, the front of the head, the cooling head and heating head, they do both. It just rolls open. And when you open that up, there's the filters, and you just take them outside, hose them down, rinse them off, and get all the dirt and crud out, and put them back in. And I'm telling you, man, it's amazing how much more flow and better they work. So pretty excited about that, considering how stinking hot it's been. It's not as hot as it used to be in Folsom, or is in Folsom up here. We're okay, but it's been a challenge to keep this place comfortable, and we like it cool. So working on that, and shout out to Caveman Heating and Air. That's who called me back and said, hey, you need to check this and this and this and get yourself straightened out. So you guys probably saw Dan. He went live yesterday and let everybody know that, of course, the website's been going through some issues. On our end, we've been getting spammed beyond belief. So we're attributing that to some issues with the server and the host and all of that part of it, and it's just been chaotic to say the least. Well, it just all finally came to a head, and it was easier, and actually I like the nudge we got to do this. It was easier to just finally abandon the old website. If you guys haven't noticed, and I'll bring this up right now. Let me see if I can get this up here for you, because it's been kind of hit and miss. So, but here it is. I'll show you guys what it looks like, and you can go check it out for yourself. But this is what we're looking at right now. Here's the new view. Of course, you got our May cover on there right now. Nothing is up to date, so we're getting there. It'll be up to date soon as we can get all the content changed and everything updated the way it needs to be. But I'll tell you, so far, some things that I really like and I've seen on here. I love the layout on the truck show event calendar. It's a lot cleaner and easier to decipher, to see all the different events. I like the colors, the combinations. The links are live. They do work. I've been clicking on them and they're working. So anytime you want to go to a show and check it out, let's just say you want to go and you want to be at, let's say, Dirty Business Truck Show or Walcott. There it is. Click on the link, and I'll do it right here. It'll take you right there. And there it is. So the links are live, and I'm not going to guarantee that they're all live, but most of them seem to be. So you guys put it through the paces, and of course, let us know what's happening. If you see anything and looks out of place or whatever, let us know. This one coming up in Brooks in August 25th, 26th. We'll be up there in the Pacific Northwest in Brooks, Oregon, for that show. Can't wait to see that. That's going to be my first time up there, and I'm excited to go up and be a part of that. That's going to be a nice show. A lot of great shows up coming up between now and then. So come on over to our website, check them all out, catch up on what's happening, and get all the lowdown on what show it is you want to go to and the latest info on it. Also, subscription tab is working. Well, it was working today. Let's see if I can get it back. Nope. So it's spotty at best right now, which, that's just the way it is. And it looks like the whole site just, nope, the whole site did not just go back down. Let me see. Yeah, actually it did. So that was just cached in there. So, don't be surprised if if it goes back down, and don't be impatient. Just relax, and it's going to get done, and we'll have a brand new, beautiful, exciting website, and it'll be out there soon, and doing what we've done so many years in the past, and that's providing you with great content, pictures, stories, and updates and news, and of course Studio 10-4 Live every week. So I want to say hi to Ingrid Brown. How you doing, Ingrid? Happy 4th day after 4th of July to you. David Marcotte. Yeah, thanks for checking out tonight's show. Appreciate it, man. Share it with your friends, and let others know what goes on here on the Studio 10-4 Live weekly update. I'm going to take us over to, let's see, I got to make sure I get this set up. In fact, what I'm going to do, also, one more thing before I do that, just in case you haven't got yours, I got mine. Look at that. Look at that. Cody Davis on the cover of the July edition of 10-4 magazine. Hot off the press and fresh in my mailbox. Actually, on my desk, I get a 5-pack delivered to me every month at Rogue Truck Body. And I share it with everybody over there at the shop and at the office. And then, of course, bring me a copy home, too. So I have it here as well. But congrats to Cody. We'll get Cody on the show. That truck is definitely cover worthy and story worthy to be on the cover of July 2023. Great color combination, nice backdrop. Of course, congrats to Stephanie. I'm sure I'm not speaking out of turn when I say she shot it. And another one in the books for Stephanie Haas, the diesel addict, putting another truck on the cover of 10-4 magazine. Damn, Dan, you better get to work, buddy. She's going to catch up, and she's going to be passing you up, man. Next edition in August, I can't say a word about who, but let me tell you what's going to be badass. So I'm excited about it. I'm not certain what's coming up there. I just know there's a good chance of what's coming up there, and I'm pretty damn excited about it. So we'll talk more when that happens. But for now, I want our buddy here, Cody, I want you to enjoy your month. And as soon as we get that website up, you'll be featured there on the website, as you should be. And of course, over on our Facebook page, you are featured on there, just to make sure that everybody sees him over there. Let's bring that up. Where are you at there, buddy? There he is, right there on the Facebook page, featured on the cover of our 10-4 magazine Facebook page. How many of you guys are still actively yeah, and Skip, I can't say, man. That's that's the sacred wrap on anything upcoming. We just don't talk about it, except for like what I just did, and that's about it. It's definitely top secret, and when you guys find out, it'll be when it gets released to the whole world. There, Johnny Jakes, what's up, buddy? In and Out, man. What's up? In and Out. I don't know when John had his last In and Out burger, but I know he loves those things, which we happen to have here in Grants Pass. So, yeah, if you're up this way, Johnny, stop in and see if I can make it over to hang out with you and have some lunch. Anyway, without going too far overboard, I kind of decided to go and bring something cool into the show, and had thought about this for a while. And I thought, who'd be a good guy to do this with? And I thought, got to be somebody that's people know, seen him around, even if you haven't, not everybody knows everyone, so you get a chance to mingle and meet. And this gentleman certainly has done that over the years. Been on the cover of 10-4 magazine, albeit his truck is no longer his that was on the cover, but as is the way of 10-4 cover trucks, it seems they end up going on the cover, and then somebody says, I got to have that truck, and they end up getting sold. And that happened to this one, as has a few others before his. But, and I got to meet this gentleman when we did the cover shoot for him. And this was a few years back, 2019. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, we put him on the cover in 20. So we'll get clarification on that. A lot of fun goes on in this guy's world. A lot of people gravitate to him out there on the road and at shows, and I think that's just kind of a indicative of the people person that this guy is. He just gets out there and he's fun to hang around with, and he attracts a lot of other fun people too, and it makes for a good time for everybody. So if you guys don't know who I'm talking about by now, I'm going to tell you right now. I want to welcome into the show. We're gonna do this on a regular basis. Kind of where is he at? And today is our first edition of Where's Jake Bast?
Hi, John. Coming to you live, Channel 19 News. Fabulous. Once upon a time, Jubit's truck stop in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, there you go, man. And it's nice and cool up in Portland, or are they sweltering up there?
It's sweltering hot, but we got the windows down, so you don't have to hear this old cat clatter in the background, and I can actually hear you.
That's awesome. That's how we like it. Well, Jake, it's always good to have you on the show and good to keep track of you. And thanks for agreeing to be a part of our madness a little bit here and make
I'm just glad you couldn't dig any deeper and find anybody better, so I'll take the opportunity I can get, and I sure appreciate it.
Hey, I'm not lying when I say you weren't plan B, buddy. You were top of the list. first one on my mind when I thought of this and it came up, and I said, I think Jake's the man for the job. So I'm glad to have you, and glad that you've been able to get out and go to some shows. In fact, you just came off of Southern Idaho, and we're out there hanging out, right?
Yes, sir. Last weekend, 10th annual Southern Idaho Truck Show. They moved the venue a couple years ago at the Filer to the fairgrounds. What an amazing event put on by amazing people. I know that's the cliche answer, but it really is. When you can take a show over the course of 10 years and watch how much it's grown, a non-judge show that just keeps growing and growing and growing, it really speaks for itself and the attitude of the people and the goal in mind with that show every year.
You know, I think the non-judge or the least amount of judging, and listen, this isn't a knock on anybody, so don't anybody get crazy about it, but I think it's just going that way to where let's have fun with this and not make it political and keep the drama out, right?
Oh, 100%. You know, I always feel like everybody gets wrapped up over winning a $9 bowling trophy, and you lose sight of what this is about. And there are times you want to go put yourself up amongst your peers and put yourself out there for what you're building and what you're doing, and see where you level out amongst people that you're working with. But the opportunities of the friendships and the stories and the events that transpire when you show up, you wipe your truck down, you're proud of what you brought, you park it, and you crack an adult beverage open and start talking, and people you haven't seen all year. That nobody remembers who won what, but you can remember stealing a golf cart and crashing through the casino parking lot at 2:00 in the morning. You know, that's the stuff you talk about.
Nobody's ever done that. What are you talking about?
No, I saw him clamping on at one time at a casino, but we would never do such a thing.
Let me tell you something, man. I don't think that GSR Grand Sierra Resort, where the ATHS show was a few weekends ago, was too happy with all of us. In fact, one of the gals in the morning got all up in my face and started, giving it to me about how I was parked where she didn't like it parked in the golf cart. And I said, whoa, hey, slow down, man. There's probably a better approach here and you get a lot better result. And she says, oh, you think I care about my job? And I said, oh, shit.
There's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from that.
I'm going to just sit here, let her have her way and move on, man. But golf carts, yeah, they took that place over and they just filled up the entire front area of.
It's like the 405 on a Friday afternoon trying to get around a Grand Sierra on a golf cart.
Oh, man, it was incredible. But great show. But anyway, let's get back to Idaho, man.
Yeah, Idaho. Yeah.
I love the fact that it's another show that is more about, making friends, having a good time, and kind of just competing within each other on a more personal level than, whatever a trophy tells you did or didn't do.
Yeah, it's 100%. I mean, everybody that comes there, they spend, especially those guys in that region, they spend so long getting ready and dialed in for that show, and they bring 120%. And everybody's just looking for an acknowledgement from their peer about, oh my gosh, look what you did with your lights, or look what you did with your fabrication or paint. and getting that camaraderie of going from truck to truck and looking at everything and laughing about it, telling the story about how the truck wound up like this or wound up like that, and all the trials and tribulations, as anybody knows that has tried to put a truck together in a time frame to take out in public. We all get that amongst each other, and that show draws such a wide variety of trucks, from new to old, to daily drivers that are old. Keith Bothwell's old 60s Kenworth pulling freight into there, pulling freight out of there to go to a show. And there's Clyde's A model, and that's a American representation of a true American truck and trucker with that truck right there that everybody knows.
You know what? And that's what's cool, man, is nostalgia. Nostalgia to me is where it's at. We all have to face the fact that, as people, we get old and we, try to change our ways and go along with whatever the technology is out there that we're supposed to be going along with. But there's nothing wrong with these older trucks. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of guys out there running them. I mean, look, you used to run your old 359 out there, and
yeah.
Where is that truck now, by the way?
Jeremy Gouge at IMT bought that truck for me back in 2019. After, it's the typical TID4 curse. We all know it. We all talk about it. Nobody wants to say it out loud, but I'll be the one to do it. Yeah. We all know it's the cover truck curse. And that's why I was afraid to use the white one, because I don't ever want to get rid of this truck. But, Jeremy bought it in 2019, right after it was on the cover in July, actually. So we have 4 years ago this month.
Yeah. And that was a great time. Good photos.
Chris Hand's truck, that 50s Kenworth right there, just an amazing truck itself. Yeah.
Old steel painted tanks, and I mean, you
take a good group of guys. I kind of want to elaborate on what you said there. Like, you take such a field of guys of that caliber that are in this for the right reason, and you take, Bobby Delgado's truck just got completely redone. Matt Shields, the guy that puts on the shows, an amazing old painter and fabricator. And I think you could still smell the paint on that truck when it rolled into the fairgrounds. And they just did an amazing job getting that thing done in time to bring to Idaho and put it out there. That's a full, complete remake on that truck. And you take Matt and his wife Diana, and they put this show on, and the money they raise and generate for their organizations and what they give their money to their charities is absolutely amazing. And it shows by the caliber of people that come every year and support what they're doing, and having that show double and triple in numbers in the last 10 years. Amazing.
And there's our buddy Brian.
We know that guy.
Yeah,
we know that guy.
He's 10-4 contributor for many years there, Mr. Brian Welch.
Good Mr. Welch.
Yeah. Now there's one you don't see much of. That's not your everyday truck right there by any means.
No, and it's just a fine example of, like, you could step into a showroom and go buy that brand new, and you're looking at it in 2023 in the same condition.
I forget who it is that has it, but he's got that old yellow Dodge Ram. The Longhorn, I think they called it. That was at the ATHS this year again too. That truck makes the rounds, and that old Dodge, man. Let me tell you, you had to really want to drive that truck, because it had, a little tiny windshield sitting way high up in the air, big old fat wide hood. I mean, it wasn't the most visual, but what a cool old truck. I love those old trucks, and that old General right there. That's the same thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you think, honestly, you could say that about a Peterbilt, a 352 cab over Peterbilt. It's like driving a school bus. They look fantastic on the outside, but that low dash, that big wheel, that windshield, all of those old trucks, you had to want to do that job to do it. I don't care if it was a Peterbilt, a Freightliner, an auto car, Diamond Rio, it doesn't matter. There was just nothing there. And, I'm sitting here right now with the windows down. It's probably only 85 degrees here, and I'm thinking how uncomfortable it is. But yet, I could turn on my AC, set my cruise control, and do 60 all the way to LA from here. These poor guys took him 10 hours to get to Corning from right here today in a 4-4 with a 220 and no power steering, no air conditioning. And then you put a cab over on top of that and try to take a nap in that thing at midnight on the top of Grants Pass or something,
Not going to happen, man. There was a couple of old cab overs there in Reno. The one that stood out, and I don't know, I can't recall what it was or whose it was, but that truck literally, it looked like it was built around the driver, and he was never going to get out of that thing. It was that small, little round bubble kind of cab roof on the top, and little dinky windows on it, and it had nothing for wheelbase. I mean, zero.
I always thought when I was a kid riding with my dad or his buddies, you had like a day cab over 2-axle, and you think they slam on the brakes, bobtail, and you just swore they were going to just tip over right on their face going down the road. Every time you hit the brakes.
Exactly. No, yep. I'll tell you what, them boys back in the day, they earned every penny that they were out there making, because
is that PG material right there, John?
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're safe. That's all safe. Everybody's responsible. Everybody's responsible.
Yeah, the boy. I don't know. You got to be careful the nighttime pictures.
I'm gonna bring it back. So there we went through this. So let's take a minute here, and I know how much we kind of brought up the fact that there wasn't such a big presence of trophies and that kind of competition at this show, but you were just at another one where that was pretty much everything about that show, and bragging rights for the next upcoming year comes along with it if you make it. And tell us, what is it, when was it, and how'd you do?
Shell Rotella was the same weekend as Reno a couple weeks ago, June 7th, 8th, and 9th, and in Gillette, Wyoming. And that was, anybody that grew up in trucking, Shell was such a, it was everywhere. Before social media, we just had magazines and calendars. That's all we got our stuff from. And growing up in this, and everywhere you went, every parts store, every dealership, Shell was everywhere, their calendar. And then there were real truckers back then. There were guys that ran the coast and hauled swinging meat and hauled produce and did the deal, and pearl snap shirts and gold chains and grease back hair and cigarette hanging out of their mouth, leaning against the 352 or 359. They were truckers.
Chains.
Yeah, watches, chains, everything. A little bit of hair coming out up here. Yep. Stretchy pants and penny loafers, and they were what all of us thought we were going to be when we became truckers. At this time in life, and so I never really thought, nor do I think now, that I was ever worthy enough to set foot in a lot with such a history of what it was that put that calendar together. But, this year, sometimes you just got to put yourself out there and see where you land and take that chance, because, you're going to miss every shot you never take. And the support I have from Ram and my wife and my friends in this community, they're just like, just take it while you can. It's in Gillette. And it's the same time as Reno, and that was hard to miss a lot of time with my friends at Reno, close friends. And but somehow we got lucky, and we landed a spot on the calendar, and we did well in the combo class, and got to really hang out with some people that I don't see much and haven't seen in a while, which is always the Truett Novostat's whole crew was there, Randy and Brad and those guys, and it was a smaller year this year. Sometimes that shows had 120 some plus trucks. They were floating around 30 this year, I think, location. And with Wisconsin having a big show and Reno at the same time, a lot of people had to make a choice. And so the nice thing about that, though, is these smaller venues, they bring a variety of people together that normally at a bigger show you would never get to spend quality time with. And I think this was a huge bonus, regardless of the outcome of the show. That was great. The weather was kind of rough, so there were nights that we had, my flatbed and Jerry Rickless flatbed side by side, and we were barbecuing hot dogs and hamburgers and ice chest, and everybody in chairs underneath our rails so they could stay dry. And you're just not going to have that at a 400 or 500 plus judge show with that quality time with everybody.
Yeah, well, there's just too much going on, and let's face it, when you're there to really, stay above the politics and try to get through it without the drama coming in, it can take a lot out of you. And sometimes that doesn't happen. And then you got to battle all that too. So
absolutely.
It's just, it's nice when things go well and you have a good time and everybody gets along, and people, as you win, there's respect, not jealousy, and things go in a good way. So
you become happy. And that's the thing that I think gets so misplaced is I want to see my friends and maybe people I don't know all that well, but I watch them try and I watch them work, and I'm rooting for them, and I hope they're rooting for somebody else, because you're watching the effort that goes in, and I'd be afraid to name drop anybody because you're afraid to miss somebody, but but
Yeah.
I can count tons of people that just put that effort in, and you're kind of like, man, I just want to see them get rewarded for what they do by their peers. And you're kind of sitting there going, they're reading these classes, and you're like, man, this guy, you watch this guy or this girl all weekend work her butt off and still have a good attitude and still have time to talk to people. And that show is a very test of that with having to drive to locations to get shot in the rain in the morning and then in the bugs in the afternoon and then have to rewash to get rejudged, the drive-up judging that Shell does. And everybody jumping in, hey, what do you need? What do you got? What can we do? And everybody just pushing for everybody there. And it was really refreshing.
Well, that's cool. I'm good for them. Good for Shell. I'm glad they're doing a good job representing and not just themselves, but the industry and making us all look good as you do. So, congratulations. What month are you getting? Do you know?
They didn't say, but I did jump out of my truck in a black shirt with pink flamingos on it somehow. And they go, man, that's just a springtime vibe. So we may have to go with April or May and get that whole oceanfront springtime deal. I said, hey, I'm just happy to be here. I can't even believe y'all want this old truck. So I don't care if you put me anywhere. I'm happy. So
Now, a day or night shot?
well, you know me. I was kind of hoping for a little nighttime action, not going to lie, but bakers can't be choosers. And so we got a beautiful daytime shot. Not sure I can disclose the location out of respect for them yet. I don't know, but absolutely. I mean, it's Wyoming in springtime. I mean, can you really pick a bad spot with the snow-capped mountains, the wildlife, the horses, the cattle, the people, the grass? I mean, it was beautiful spots. Yeah.
Good deal. Hey, I want to take a second shout out. Alyssa, nice to have you on the show. And one of our favorite families and people, Annette Magini Gidelli. There's a mouthful there. Watching from Riverdale down there in California. And appreciate you tuning in, Annette. Always good to see you guys. Thanks for everything you do with 10-4 and, of course, Trucking for Kids, hauling that Trucking for Kids trailer around all over the country. And be looking for that one again soon somewhere. I'm not sure where the next place that's going to pop up at, but it'll definitely be somewhere soon. I don't know if you're coming up to Brooks or if we're going to be Bobtail Apparel. That was a fun one last year. That was a great show. Maybe Jake, I don't know if you'll be able to make it down there for that one, but it was something about that show that we just had a really good time there in Dixon, California.
Which one was it, John?
Bobtail Apparel.
Oh, show. Yeah, Dixon. Yeah. I'd sure like to. I heard a lot of good things from a lot of people I value their opinion from, and just a lot of good things about that show.
Yep. And then,
I'd love to make CG, so CG's is kind of on my list for a Cal. Yep. I'd love to go down there and be a part of that. My wife leaving Idaho showed this. We were kind of done for the summer, we thought, and she all of a sudden is like wanting to go to Brooks. So we may try to pull Brooks off. But I'd really like to go do CG show this year.
And I'm glad you brought that up because that's where I was headed next. Of course, CG Souza Memorial Truck Show's coming up. And again, for all the dates and locations and information, head over to 104magazine.com. If you get an error message or whatever right now, just hang in there. We'll get you taken care of. The new website's on its way. And Dan and everybody that our webmaster John. Been really trying to get this thing going. So just hang with us and we'll get her worked out. Yeah, Annette, I hope you guys do go to Brooks. That'll be a cool show to be at. Literally cool.
We haven't been for a couple of years, probably since 19 or so. So kind of looking forward to that again, I think.
Well, it's done well. It's done really well. So it's kind of cool how that has panned out. So I got some more shots here. By the way, take a moment here to thank Nicholas Hale. He and I just became friends on Facebook thanks to Jake, who shared all these photographs. I appreciate it, Nicholas. Thank you for allowing us to stalk your Facebook.
Oh, there's Matt's truck. That's a cool truck. He just bought that, striking out on his own authority and his own deal. Pretty proud to see him come along with that truck and his business adventures and going out on his own. Such a tough time to do that in, and he's just out there killing it.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, he's got some cojones, right?
Yep. Way more than I got.
Yeah, good for him. No, that's a lot. There's a lot to it, and if it was easy, everybody'd do it. But
that's right.
Not. So a touch of class in motion, yes, sir.
That's the deck plate on that same truck. That's his deck plate pinstripe work.
Love it. Very nice. Very nice. Now here's this truck we were talking about earlier. Tell us about this truck. It's got
that's Keith Bockwell's truck out of Greeley, Colorado. Yeah, it was kind of a frame up build. Fresh frames, got a V8 in it, set of spicers, a 5 and a 4. And he stretched the hood, fiberglass, stretched the hood a little bit to make it, fit that V8 in it, give it an extended hood look. And he's just such a talented artist. He's kind of actually one of my heroes, to be quite honest. I just idolize the guy and what he's done. He was a mechanic at Tri-State Truck Builder Commodities there, in Greeley for years. And it started out as a side project. It took him 2 years from start to finish on this thing to haul and freight with it. And he's just, that thing is just, to watch anybody complete their lifelong build dream truck and watch him get on the freeway and haul a load with it for the first time. There's just you can't put anything on value on that. And that is his dream build truck, hands down. And to watch him complete it after 2 years, phenomenal.
I'll tell you what, he kept it real and old school. I mean, look at the fuel tank on that thing.
And even the lettering and the numbers on that truck, like, he's a phenomenal pinstriper and painter. And so if you look at it's a shame we don't have a picture of the lettering on it. The lettering of the pinstriping looks like it's 50 years old to go with the truck.
Yeah, we can zoom in on this.
I did break the door handle on it in Idaho Saturday morning. So yeah, I broke the passenger. Jeremy Luskin, I moved it. I broke the door handle in it. So I now know if anybody has a 50s model Kenworth that needs a door latch rebuilt, I got you. We know how to do that now. So we had to take it all apart, pull it out of the truck, run to Amos' shop, tear it apart, put it back together, weld it. Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kelly, me, and Keith had to run down there and reassemble this entire door latch in the middle of the show to get the door closed, because he had to actually leave with a load Saturday.
Well, he kept this thing, I think, as close to the original and real as he could. There, you even got the on-roof air conditioner up there, man. That's an old school setup right there. But
absolutely.
But it worked good, I bet, right?
Oh yeah, it's phenomenal. I mean, you think of how many families are raised on V8s and Spicers. I mean, in that era, everybody was raised on a big cam, a V8, B-Mall Spicers. A lot of people are afraid of them, but we were all raised on them.
Yeah. No.
Back when trucks were trucks and men were men.
Yeah,
that truck that Nick weighs there, that's a phenomenal truck. Single stack. Very clean, simple, an amazing individual. Nick's just the greatest guy. Lives in Utah. And he's just all about everything, proper fitting. We're going to play with the lights on that truck a little bit, get more kind of air appropriate lights on. He wants to go that direction. And of course I was like, I'd love to help with that. And just a cool ride.
It reminds me, I'm looking at it, and I mean, there's a lot of grain in the photo because of the light or lack of it.
That could have been right before Nick Help passed out in front of that truck too, after a few many adult beverages. So it's hard to tell with the timeline.
I like what happened here, though, and this is always something. It's not, trucks don't own this look. Cars, I've seen plenty of them look the same way, but anything you could polish and make shiny, you did. The paint might not be much to look at, if anything at all, but everything else looked damn fine,
That's my goal. Like with my paint, and these guys paint. Well, see, Jimmy Johnson right there in that truck. He runs that truck every day. Matt Kelly, with the extended hood little window. We're all in that same vibe. Like, your frame better be nice, your aluminum's got to be on point, and your paint can look as bad as it wants if that's your vibe. But people know what you're going for, as you pointed out, when your aluminum's right, your stainless is right, and your frame looks right. But otherwise, if you let everything else go, you're just lazy. I mean, you have to build that look if that's the look you want.
Yeah.
And these are fine examples. These two trucks and Nick's before that, Matt and Jimmy's, those are fine examples of this is what we're doing.
What makes that red Pete OG, man, is those lights right there.
If you say anything about that bubble or that beacon on top of their OG, I'm out of here. Just let you know.
All right.
That's Matt's favorite part of that truck is that big whirly bird light on top.
What the hell, man? Why not, right? That's all right.
He runs the road of that. Oh, we can move past that guy.
Now, this guy here, man, I think he's got a little bit of an obsession going on with the nighttime scene. If you ask me, I mean, I thought I had it bad, but you passed me up. So no, looking large and lit, man.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah, no.
Thank you. I love the fact. I love seeing these guys coming up. These younger guys, and they're just infatuated with it, and they're like. They're trying to get me to try the bulb they're doing, or trying to get me to try this or that. And I'm like, I'm happy where I'm at in life, and I'm you never forget that when you get to where you want to be, that you want to be there someday. And I'm so happy with myself that I have the want for these guys to do it bigger and better, and I want them to experiment with more things and brighter bulbs and better light placement and better wiring and better everything. And I just love watching these guys that are just nobody's gonna remember my truck in a year or two the way these kids are coming after it 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. Well, if your truck ain't lighting up the 3 or 4 lanes on the other side of the 5 or the 99 as you go down it, you didn't do it right.
That's right. If they don't know you coming or going day or night, just keep it in the barn.
I'll tell you, what got me years ago, and this was back when I was running. We'd be running into the Bay Area, 2, 3 in the morning, so we'd stay out of the traffic thing and get in there without going crazy from all the traffic that goes on in the San Francisco, Oakland Bay Area. And in the middle of the morning, 2, 3 in the morning, we'd see all the fuel tanker guys and wine guys on the other side on 880. And
if 880, you hit on a thing that most people don't realize. 880 was a light show. Between the Ducey trucks, the fuel trucks, the transfers, the 880 was as big a light show between the Bay Bridge and South City and coming out to Livermore as 99 was, or coming out of 710 in Long Beach. And they come across the 880 at night, you better be dialed in and things on. And unless you were there and saw that, a lot of people would never believe that. So I'm really glad you touched on that.
Yeah, it was impressive. It really was. And the ground effects that a lot of those guys created with their lights, it inspired me to go where I went with what I did on my transfer. And all I wanted to do was make sure I lit up everything on the other side of the freeway like those guys were. And in the middle of the morning like that, the lights would just flatten out on the road, across the road, man. And it was just
all the way to the K-rail.
Yeah.
And then, the thing is that was in the incandescent days when you had starter relays and heat switches and everything else. This LED makes it just anybody can do it now. Yeah. But when you wanted to be lit up in those days, you were talking a whole lot of more work. Yeah.
At 1156, 1157 bulbs and a lot of heat and a lot of power. Yeah, that always cracks me up. Now the guys are running their stuff during light shows at truck shows, and I never understood why. They're drawing milliamps from these LEDs. There's nothing to them, but back in the day,
it's funny. It's kind of freaky to me to be able to leave I still don't do it just out of paranoia. Yeah. But I can leave everything I have on with my trailer included. I don't have to ever start my truck, but I'm so paranoid about it. Yeah. I do. And I still have a Ford starter relay for all my wires anyway, because I just don't know how to have lights without them.
Oh, man. Hey, Jamie Williams, good to have you in on the show there, buddy. Jamie, I'm sure, has got a lot of good light stories out there, too, to talk about. Jamie's built a truck or two in his day and is a past cover trucker on 10-4 magazine as well. So good to have you back on the show, Jamie. There's something to be said about all the nostalgia and the fun stuff that's going on over there.
Travis Vermeer right there, boy. He's brought that truck a long way. And he's young. He's ate up with it. You guys know, his dad, Steve, and everything. Just a great family. Southern California, moved to Oregon. And that 359 Travis has brought just amazingly far. And he just runs it every day.
Yeah. I especially like that he polished the dent on the tank. That gives it some,
the dents deserve polish. It's not their fault.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Hey, wait a minute. I don't know about that guy. I don't know what happened there. There might have been some adult stuff involved in there.
No. We're always Jimmy Johnson and I are always trying to lead the way and set the best example we can. We're just not who we're setting it for, but we're setting it.
Oh, that's awesome.
This thing is cool. I don't know who has this truck. I walked around a couple of times, I just love to see these builds come together in every step and nobody being afraid to take them out and show them off. And who doesn't love an American A model? Like, it's his American truck. Like, when you look at his truck, you want to go to the truck stop, buy a puppy vest and a chain drive wallet and go truck it. That's what an A model does to a person.
I got to tell you, man, there's been a lot of pictures being shared from some of the older publications out there what the hell, I'll mention Overdrive, and the old school photos that they used to put out. And they weren't shy, man. They were babes and big rigs back in the day before there was babes and big rigs. And I love those old photos, man. I really
I
do.
can't. I really thought I'm just gonna do. You guys are the one who put me on air, so you got to be careful what happens when we go down this road. But
Yeah.
I really think we need to do a babes and big rig section in here, and I think we can get plenty of people to sign up for that if we want to boost some subscriptions. And you know, I'm just saying, it's not a bad idea.
Hey, Dan, you hearing that,
If
buddy?
Dan's listening, we'll find the babes and we'll find the big rigs, and we can just float them together.
Oh, too much. Well, something that is coming up that I can mention for us. We're not looking to get too crazy with it, but our 30th anniversary is coming up. We're going to be celebrating that in September, and so 1993. Let me just say, 1993 is the year. So we're
Absolutely amazing how far this whole 10-4 from start in 93 to now, watching it grow and it being a part of my entire life, and so many people on the West Coast to start with. And it's just amazing that with technology and the internet and everything else that you guys have grown with the times and kept such an interest in growing and the diversity of people that are in the magazine. And it's just amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. We've certainly embraced the technology. I mean, when Dan and Eric brought me on, that was the whole idea. Bring the technology to us, and let's see what we can do with it. And I don't have any problem at all saying it. Back in 2017, we were the first ones to ever live stream from Mid America Truck Show and bring that whole effect into the truck show world. I mean, at that point, it was a turn of the tide for certain for not only us, but the following year, there was a lot of people out there in that same situation doing the live streams and using the technology. I mean, let's face it, the technology was there. We just needed to find a way to make it make sense. And I'd like to think that we've done that over the years. We bring a lot of great quality content from the truck shows. When you guys can't make it to the show, 10-4 is there to bring it to you. So
I think the other thing too that gets overlooked by a lot of people and should be more of an example is the stories themselves. Like, we see the pictures before the internet, the pictures were really important because we maybe would never see the truck. Now it's almost a reverse role where we all wind up unfortunately seeing the truck a lot of times and seeing multiple pictures, seeing it at shows, but we maybe don't know the driver, we maybe don't know their story and their history. And to see a 5 or 6 page article on the driver with several pictures, you don't even almost look at the pictures anymore because you're so intrigued in the story behind the driver that we all may never hear, even though we see the picture, we see the truck. And a lot of other magazines out there, you get a paragraph or two at the truck specs. Well, 90% of people that read a truck magazine, we can glance at a truck and know most of the specs. Let's be honest,
sure,
and it's good
sure.
to be in there. But there's so much more to an article than just the specs of a truck. So when you have a family history, a first, second, third generation, or what's important to them, you really get a grasp of that person and their family.
Well, and speaking about that, in this month's the July edition, there with Cody Davis on the cover, Chad Violet did a show report from Troy Huddleston Memorial Truck Show, and really put some nice stuff together there. And listen, we all knew Troy, and
We all knew and loved Troy.
yep, we did, and I think that we have I think finally gotten to a point here where the legend will live on. I think we need to move on too, and everybody is gonna continue on and emulate the great things that Troy shared with everybody and how to do things, and that's how you carry on the legacy.
It's not what you take with you; it's what you leave behind, John. Right? And
Yeah.
what do we have to leave behind but our legacy of respect and hope that we've influenced somebody to carry on what we're doing.
Absolutely, and do it in a good way, and that's what I think Troy did. Chad did a good job of sharing that in the story, and the stories are everything. Before we went live today, I was looking at some things on Facebook, and I'm looking at the crazy reels and stories that get shared on Facebook, and Facebook doesn't own that. It's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, wherever you're at, putting that stuff out there, and uh, those little 30-second, 15-second, 60-second, however long it ends up being of something. Sometimes it can be really good and really kind of tell a story. Other times you look at that, and after you've watched it, you want your time back.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, absolutely. I could probably tell you 10 videos I see people in, myself included, where I'm like, oh God, who did that? Why is that out there? And nobody wants to see that.
There's some stuff. I mean, there's a gal that I follow. It just happened. She popped up on my stream and on my feed, and she's a young lady who has Tourette's. And I mean, have you seen her?
I have seen her, and I just love. I love watching her. But what I really love is that she has the confidence to expose the world to what she goes with, and just puts it out there, and it's I tell you what, it's crazy. Yeah.
She is something else, and let me just tell you too, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, go check out Facebook Reels and look for this young lady. She just shares whatever's happening in that moment and at that time, and she shares a lot of stuff, comments people leave and whatnot through her social media. But she's just absolutely beautiful young lady. She'd probably be
great attitude, wonderful personality.
Oh, man, all there, and she just has these crazy ticks that I'm telling you, man, it's not for the kids for sure.
It is not for the kids. No. There's a video from the Idaho show I got sent about 40 times yesterday in the last 2 days of Marty Miles and I kicking some spike lug nut covers off this truck loaded on a step deck that was being hauled out of there. And it's like a 30. I feel like everybody that watched it, I owe you 30 seconds of your life to give it back, because I just kept getting sent this, and I'm like, who recorded it? And then they put it out there, and I thought, this poor girl with Tourette's that is doing the world justice of exposing it. Then you have a couple of idiots at a truck show kicking off some spike lug nut covers on an old truck being hauled out of there. It's like, how do you compare the two with all this?
I don't know. I think individually and uniquely, that's how you look at all of it, and take it for what it's worth. And if you find some enjoyment out of any of this stuff, then mission accomplished. And in other cases, you're wanting to get your 30 seconds back that you just don't even know why you watched whatever it was you watched. But there's a lot of stuff out there that is good, but there's nothing that takes the place of what we got going on in here that tells the story. And
nothing. There's nothing that takes place. And to hold that in your hands and sit down outside on a bench somewhere at a truck stop or on the back of your trailer and have a cold Coke or whatever you're drinking, and just sit and thumb through a good old magazine, and feel the pages in your hand again. It's like the truck paper. Doesn't everybody miss the newspaper? When the truck paper was a big newspaper, and you sat there and thumb through it and thought, oh, I could buy that for that, and change the visor and put fenders on it and do this. And now you get this little tiny book that you don't even want to look at anymore, Well,
it's so funny. Dan, I think I'm surprised I haven't got a text from Dan wanting to hire you and get you out there selling magazines at this point.
He knows better. Dan knows better.
Hey, one more thing, and this kind of goes back to the old school thing here. I saw these guys yesterday on the way back from California. PIE. I had no idea that company was even still running.
So that guy, there's a little story with that. They're the blue roll tops with the red lettering on it. They run up and down I-5, and there's two of them, what I call Wisconsin dry vans, but roll top Conestogas. That guy, it was from Central California, and he just loved PIE. I have a little PIE truck collection at home. I'm kind of into PIE stuff myself, and I actually talked to him one day, and they actually just put the roll top on with PIE's logo, and there's a couple of them that I think there's two. There may have been more at one point. Memory may be a little fuzzy on that, but I know there's two, and they just run up and down I-5. But they just love PIE and the logo and the history, and they just put it on their roll top.
And we're talking about the same one as a curtain van, right?
Yeah. The blue, their blue curtain van with red PIE logo. Yeah. I think there's a blue T600 or T2000 pulls one in a red, Aero Truck pulls the other. And there's no affiliation with the old PIE company. Those were not original trailers, but the guy put that roll top, that rag on there in honor kind of a PIE.
That's interesting. I was blown away. I thought, wait a minute. I know I read that this company's been long gone.
Oh, they've been gone for a long time. Yeah, Ryder. So Ryder bought PIE out, then it was Ryder PIE, and then they kind of disbanded PIE and went with Ryder up until Ryder got, went their separate way. And that's when they changed the logo to the angled triangle that said Ryder up on the nose of the trailer. And
there's a couple other ones out there, old time companies that are part of California and the West Coast history. System 99.
Norm Butler, he was with System 99 forever, past cover trucker, and one of my all-time heroes, and absolute. Everybody hates the L word, but if you're going to use the word legend, it's on the West Coast. It's Norm O.G. Butler.
Yeah, Norm, shout out to you, buddy. Always good to see Norm at the shows. And the other one was
the only time I'm ever quiet because he can out-talk me, and that's saying a lot.
Come on. The other one, Consolidated Freight, man.
Oh yeah, CF, yeah. Roadway and CF, they all, and Willig was always a soft spot for me. Remember Willig? Yep. They had all the cab over the yellow and dark black, dark blue color, and with them yellow doubles running up and down I-5 and 99.
Well, we got our fill of and I think everybody else did too today, and of the little trip down memory lane. Jake, thanks for being available and dropping in, and just so everybody knows, want to make sure you guys follow along and check Jake out. We're going to do a drop in here and make it frequent. Where's Jake Bast at? And next time in, we'll have a little promo ahead of time to let you know when Jake's going to be on. But I sure appreciate the hell out of you being available and doing it, Jake. Thank you.
I really appreciate you even taking the time to wonder what's going on over here. So until next time, my friend.
Thanks a lot, Jake, and much love to you. Be safe out there, and I hope we see you soon.
Absolutely.
Ready to hoist a cold one with you. Somewhere.
Light one up and drink one, buddy. I'm ready. All right. We'll see you, John. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Jake Bass there, everybody. Yeah, one of the good guys, and there's a lot of them out there, man, but none of them do it the way Jake does, and I still to this day love that picture that made its rounds around social media with Jake hanging out the driver's window on his truck, and somebody capturing that as they drove by. Man, that's a classic. That one should just always make it out. In fact, Jake, you got to get me another copy of that one. Give me as good a copy of that one as we can get, and we'll make that your promo for the upcoming shows. Now Dan turns in. Dan, we already decided Jake's going to put together some stuff for the magazine. He's going to be selling magazines here pretty soon. You should have heard him, man. You'll have to go back and play him on the playback once we hang up for today. But no, Dan, I get it. You're busy, and we appreciate you when you can tune in. So everybody give our buddy Dan Linz a shout, and of course Miss Shannon as well in there too. So again, thanks to Jake for being available. Really made the show a lot of fun tonight, and everybody for tuning in. Appreciate that. Upcoming shows, obviously, like I said, we have everything available, and the site, the website, again, it's hit and miss. Don't get too frustrated. In fact, like right now, there it is. It's hitting. So, and it's not updated, but it's there. You guys can get kind of an idea what it's kind of looking like and going to look like. But I really like how the layout went for the events page. I really think that turned out nice, and it just pops now where before, it was pretty small, and now it's nice and big, easy to see all the detail and be a part of what's going on here. If you want to check anything out, click on the link and get to it. And the subscription, let's see if that's back. No, there you go. Subscription is live now too. So again, this stuff comes and goes. And my best advice is, if you want a subscription right now, and the website is letting you click on it right now, I would say get your subscription right now and get that done. It's the best way to get 10-4 magazine delivered directly to you. fresh, brand new copy every single month in a clear plastic sleeve, nice and pretty and perfect, just the way it came off the press. So get yourself one, and if you want to go big and share something with everybody, you can do like I do and get the 5 copy once per month. You get 5 copies of 10-4 magazine, and you can share those with your friends, put them up on the counter at work, on your desk, and whatever you need to be, whatever you want to do there to share the 10-4 love and get it out there. And as Dan just mentioned, we will get the website stabilized and going. It's going to be a much better experience for everybody once that's done, and she's up and running and all good to go again. Till next week, guys, we'll see you around. And of course, you ever have any suggestions, please, folks, don't hesitate. We love hearing from you. Tell us who you might think would be a great guest on the show. Sponsors, love to have sponsors out there. So if you're looking for something to help get your brand out there and noticed, it's not just about the live show itself. It's about the replays and watches after the show has been live. People go in and, of course, they're watching this stuff over and over and over again. And many people for the first time. So they go in there and catch the replay. You can do that too anytime. All right, y'all, take care. We'll see you next week. And till then, stay safe. Keep the shiny side up. Glad everybody made it through on the other side to the 5th of July after party. And we'll catch up with you next week. Till then, take care.